Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1. I'm Shehan Ranatunga along with sign language interpreter Brian Cruz via Zoom. Let's first take a look at your headlines.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Dinesh Priyanthar of the Sri Lanka Army wins big at Tokyo Paralympics, sets a new world record.
65 or 6 now, 60.
Samita Dulan secures a bronze medal. New COVID-19 variant in South Africa. Venerable Muruttettuwe Thera issues another warning.
අස්චක් නුලක් නෑර සියලුම මහා සංඝරත්නය අවදි කරලා මේ යන ගමනට පියලීමක් යොදන්නට අපි සූදානම් වෙනවා කියන එක.
People stand in line to purchase sugar at Satosa. Consumer Affairs Authority raids warehouses that hoard sugar stocks.
News First headlines. Main sponsor.
Sri Lanka's Dinesh Priyanthar won the first gold medal for Sri Lanka at the Tokyo 2020 Paralympics after he set a new world record in the men's F46 javelin throw event.
I trained at the Ministry of Sports for about a year. We were allowed to train even during the COVID-19 pandemic. While I was training with my coach Pradeep Nishantha, I told him that I want to secure the gold medal and get the world record under my name. I am happy that I was able to train well and win the gold and set a new world record. I am thankful to the Ministry of Sports who supported me. We were motivated and the Ministry of Sports together with the Army supported us to get to Tokyo. All officials, including members of my regiment, the Gajaba regiment, and my wife, made many sacrifices and supported me a lot. I would like to thank all of them. I can't express the happiness I feel right now. Today we proved to the people of Sri Lanka that we do not speak about things that we can't do. We set a world record today. I met Dinesh Priyanthar at the beginning of 2017. We came so far. He won the Asian gold medal in 2018. Dinesh Priyanthar is dedicated to his training. That is the reason why he was able to win this medal today.
That's massive. It's gone big. He did it with his first two.
Dinesh Priyanthar is the first Sri Lankan to win a gold medal at the Paralympics. Dinesh Priyanthar Herath was born in Kagama, Ipalogama, Anuradhapura. He is the second born in a family with 3 children. Dinesh served in the Gajaba regiment and while on duty he was handicapped in a terrorist attack at Kilinochchi in 2008. Even after giving so much for his motherland, his injuries did not deter him from fulfilling his mission of bringing honor and glory to our nation. Dinesh practiced hard and long in hope of one day showcasing his true potential to the world. Dinesh Priyanthar had previously won a bronze medal in the same event at the 2016 Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro. Dinesh spoke to us about his dreams of winning gold in the event, even in the year 2017.
මගේ මීළඟ බලාපොරොත්තු ජාතික ටෝකියෝ තරඟාවලිය ලෝක වාර්තාවත් සමගින්ම රම්පදක්කමට යන්න තමයි මගේ බලාපොරොත්තුව.
The hope and dedication of Dinesh Priyanthar enabled him to realize both of his dreams and bring honor and glory to Sri Lanka.
එයාගේ ලොකු බලාපොරොත්තුවක් තිබ්බ හැම වෙලේම කිව්වා රම්පදක්කම වර්ල්ඩ් රෑන්ක් එකකුත් එක්කම ගන්නවා කියලා. ඉතින් මේ හිතේ බය තිබ්බා මේ අනිත් තරඟකාරයෝ ගොඩක් එයාත් එක්කම එකට හිටපු නිසා ඒ වුණාට ඉතින් ගොඩක් සතුටුයි.
Heartiest wishes to you from all of us at News First for your amazing achievement.
Now, the sporting fraternity of Sri Lanka extended their wishes to the Paralympic gold medalist Dinesh Priyanthar.
Dinesh has done an immense service to our motherland. He was able to clinch the gold, set a world record and hoist the Sri Lankan flag up high at the Games. Because of Dinesh, our national anthem was heard by the world. I would like to extend my heartiest wishes to him.
පළමු පැරා ඔලිම්පික් රන් පදංකව ලෝක වාර්තාවක් සමගින් දිනාදුන් දිනේෂ් ප්‍රියන්තට මගේ හදවතින්ම සුබ පතනවා.
දිනේෂ් හේරත් සහෝදර ක්‍රීඩකයාට මගේ උණුසුම් සුබ පැතුම්.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has congratulated Dinesh Priyantha on achieving this magnificent feat. In a tweet, the president wrote, "Your service in fighting for Sri Lanka as a soldier and putting us in the international sports map is remarkable." Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa too had congratulated Dinesh Priyantha for his accomplishment. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa congratulated Dinesh Priyantha in a tweet. In his congratulatory message, the opposition leader wrote, "You made Mother Sri Lanka proud." Minister of Sports Nama Rajapaksa personally wished Dinesh Priyantha over a video message.
Sir.
Amalia, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Taking to Twitter, Minister of Sports Nama Rajapaksa called Dinesh's feat as the most extraordinary victory in sports in the recent past of the country. The Chinese Embassy in Sri Lanka and the Indian High Commission in Sri Lanka also congratulated Dinesh Priyantha in a tweet.
Now in other news, State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawan said yesterday that brown sugar will be sold at 130 rupees at Satosa outlets and cooperatives in response to the rising price of sugar. Although 130 rupees was the price announced for a kilo of brown sugar was selling at Satosa outlets for 120 rupees. Thereby, the price of sugar at all Satosa outlets has been increased by 10 rupees.
With the sharp increase in the prices of sugar across the country, the government decided to issue sugar at a concessionary rate through Satosa outlets. However, our correspondents across the island reported that the amount of sugar sold at Satosa outlets was limited to 1 kilogram of sugar per person. People were standing in long queues to purchase a kilo of sugar in several areas across the island. Long queues were seen in areas including Kalaniya, Mulleriyawa and Vellampitiya.
සීනි ගැන කතා කරන්න එපා. ඊයේ 120 දීපු සීනි අද 130යිලු. අද දැන් සීනිත් නැහැ. කාටද කියන්නේ? ඇඟිල්ල ලෙවකක තමයි ප්ලේන්ටි කෝපි බොණ්ඩ වෙලා තියෙන අපිට. කිසිම දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔව් සීනි කිලෝ එකයි දෙන්නේ මදිනේ. සතසෙන් කියනවා අච්චර දෙනවා මෙච්චර දෙනවා කියලා ගන්න හපුවම නැහැ.
People also visited Satosa stores in Mount Lavinia and Ratmalana today to purchase sugar. Only 1 kilogram of sugar was sold to a single person today.
මාධ්‍යවරු මාධ්‍යවල හොඳ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා හැමදේම තියෙනවා වගේ නමුත් සායුධ තත්ත්වය තමයි සෞදි වගේ ආයතනයකට ඇවිල්ලා අද බලනකොට අද සීනි කිලෝ එකයි දෙන්නේ සීනි කිලෝ එකක් ඇද්ද.
Our correspondents reported that there was no sugar at all 4 Satosa outlets in the Kurunegala town.
85ට 90ට ගත්ත ස්ටොක් තියෙනවා මේ ටොන් ගණන්. ඒව ඉතින් එළියට දාන්න පුළුවන් නේ මිනිසුන්ට දෙන්න පරිභෝජනයට. සීනි ගන්නවා සීනිත් නැහැ මෙලෝදයක් නැහැ.
Long queues of people waiting to purchase sugar were seen in the Kandy town as well. A large crowd had gathered at the Satosa outlet in Mathura to purchase sugar. Many people had come to the Satosa outlet in Wadua to purchase sugar, while there was no sugar to be sold at the outlets in Panadura and Kalutara today.
We have taken all necessary steps to sell brown sugar at 130 rupees through all Satosa outlets and cooperatives. The price of white sugar will also be gradually reduced starting from this week. Our target is to bring down the price of a kilo of white sugar to 125 rupees in the coming few weeks. The distribution process will start today and the consumers will be able to buy sugar at a lower price from Wednesday. With the intention of seeking solutions for the sugar crisis in the market, 2,000 metric tons of sugar stored at the port was discharged free of charge today. 81 containers have unloaded at our port and we have 2,187 metric tons of sugar here. As the subject minister, I have discharged the stock free of charge. Satosa has made a request from us to hold discussions with the sugar exporters and give those stocks to Satosa for a reduced price of 104 rupees.
A storage facility where stocks of sugar were hoarded illegally was raided based on a tip-off received by the Kiribati police. 800 tons of sugar were stored at this warehouse.
මේ ප්‍රදේශයේ කොයි හරියද ප්‍රතිමන්තේ මේ වත්තල කුණු පිටිය පාර. ඔව්.
Officers of the Consumer Affairs Authority later inspected the storage facility.
මෙතන ඇල්ලුවා කියලා ආරංචි ආවනේ ඔයාලට උදේම 8ට 9ට ආවනේ ඇත්ත කියන්න. මට ආවනේ මට නම් 10ට තමයි වගේ 10ට. හරිනේ. ඒකයි ගන්න තරම් තියෙන එකනේ ලියුම. මම ඔක්කොම ගන්නවා. අපල මොකද ගන්න. පාරිභෝගික අධිකාරියේ මේ සීනි කිරිපිටි gas.
A time period until the 15th of the 6th month was given for warehouses of sugar, milk powder and gas to register with us. This warehouse has not been registered, but after intelligence units raided this warehouse in the morning, they had submitted a letter saying that a warehouse had been transferred to this location. According to my knowledge, that is not a valid letter. I will inquire from our legal division on what steps can be taken in the future.
ඒ දැනීම විදිහට අපි නීති අංශයෙන් අහලා බලනවා මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මොකද්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් නීතිමය පියවර කියලා. ඒකට කොච්චර තියෙනවද මෙතන?
Officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority later sealed the warehouse.
ආණ්ඩුවේ ලබා දුන්නු බදු සහනය පාරිභෝගිකයට යන්නේ නැහැ නේද ඒක වාසිය. ඇයි මේ පාරිභෝගිකයට 100%ක්ම කියන්නේ?
The consumer did not receive the 100% benefit, but they received 60% to 70% of the benefit. However, we were able to maintain the sugar price at 115 rupees to 120 rupees because the 25% tax that was imposed earlier. There is a mafia in the market today. There is a massive crime because a kilogram of sugar that was brought to the country at 100 rupees is now being sold between 200 to 240 rupees. We have to convene parliament immediately and draft laws to punish these culprits. Punishments that were given during the time of kings must be given to these people. These people are trying to obtain massive profits like 50 billion rupees to 60 billion rupees from one business. This is destructive towards the general public. These people must be hanged for these crimes. It is not merely enough to impose a fine of 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. A stricter punishment must be given to these people. We are also clueless as to why the government is late to take action against these people.
මේ තීන්දුව කියන කාරණාව ජනතාවට නගනකොට අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඔවුන්ට දැඩි දඬුවම් ලබා දෙන්න කටයුතු කරන්න කියන බොහොම ගෞරවනීය ඉල්ලීමක් අපි කරනවා.
ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී රජයේ සම්බන්ධ ගජමිතුරන්
The close allies of the government brought down 600,000 metric tons of sugar into the country under the 25-cent tax. Sugar is being sold at 240 rupees in Kurunegala. The government says that they will give brown sugar for 130 rupees. Out of the entire production of sugar in the country, only 20% is needed for the consumer. Now the situation is such that the Consumer Affairs Authority is merely useless.
මොකද ඒ දවස්වල කිව්වේ ඩොලර් එක යන විදියට බඩු මිල වැඩි වෙනවා නම්
Those days people asked as to what is the point of this government if the cost of living is rising parallel to the depreciation of the rupee. This government that came into power to ensure national security has to rely on media outlets to reveal the culprits behind the sugar scam. When the selling price of sugar is at 220 rupees and the minister says there is a profit of 100 rupees, inadvertently the minister is saying that this can be sold at 120. The minister said yesterday that sugar can be given at 130 rupees.
රුපියල් 130ට කියලා කියන්නේ පුද්ගලික අංශයට වඩා රුපියල් 90කින්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ඇමතිතුමාගේ කතාවත් එක්ක පරස්පරතාවයක් තියෙන නිසා මේ විදිහට සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා කියන එක අපි කියන්න කැමතියි.
We'll be back with more news right after.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Bellboy's got you covered. Download Bellboy today to get all your household appliance fixing and repairs done. Now available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back. Now a new COVID-19 variant has been identified in South Africa. The Jerusalem Post has reported that this is the most mutated variant of COVID-19 that has been discovered so far.
A new coronavirus variant C.1.2 has been detected in South Africa and a number of other countries with concerns that it could be more infections and evade vaccines. According to a new preprint study by South Africa's National Institute for Communicable Diseases and KwaZulu Natal Research Innovation and the sequencing platform. The study is awaiting peer review. This new variant was identified first in May. While first detected in South Africa, C.1.2 has been found in England, China, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mauritius, New Zealand, Portugal and Switzerland. The study also found that C.1.2 lineage has mutation rate of about 41.8 mutations per year, which is nearly twice as fast of the current global mutation rate of other variants. Speaking on this matter, Dr. Chandima Jeevandara, Director of Operations and Clinical Services at the Allergy, Immunology and Cell Biology Unit of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura said that this new mutated virus could evade the immunity developed in people who have already contracted either the alpha or beta variants of the virus. He added that such mutations are commonly seen during a pandemic of this nature and that it would not affect the activeness of the virus.
One could protect themselves from the new variants with the vaccines, although it may not be as successful as with the alpha variant. Even if a person is infected with a mutated strain of the virus, the treatment would be similar to the treatment given to a person infected with the alpha or delta variants of the virus. Even if a new variant enters Sri Lanka, we can use the same methods of treatment.
Another batch of vaccines in Sri Lanka.
Another consignment of Pfizer vaccines was brought down to the country today. State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana said 124,020 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine purchased by the State Pharmaceuticals Corporation reached Sri Lanka this morning. In addition, 15,000 doses of the Sputnik vaccine is expected to reach the island as well.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa alleges that a medicine mafia is operating in the country. Issuing a statement today, Premadasa called for an immediate stop to attempts to provide privileges to cronies through this medicine mafia. The opposition leader accuses the government of being blind and deaf to the fraud that is being perpetrated, since their friends and cronies are benefiting from it. Premadasa says that at a time when people are trapped in a battle for life in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government is permitting feudalistic mafias to operate in the country. Expressing his intense distaste and objection to the despicable crimes being perpetrated, Premadasa claims that the loss of sensitive data at the NMRA is no coincidence. The opposition leader called for an immediate and impartial investigation into the deletion of data at the NMRA.
The data scam.
Member of Parliament of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Nalin Bandara, filed a complaint with the Criminal Investigations Department today, seeking an investigation into the deletion of data at the National Medicines Regulatory Authority. He points out in his complaint that the disappearance of sensitive data is a violation of Sections 24 and 130 of the NMRA Act No. 5 of 2015.
We see the loss of extremely sensitive data by the government as a serious threat to national security. I have filed this complaint today because all the politicians, public officials and businessmen connected to this must be questioned and an investigation must be held and information reported to Parliament and the country in order to prevent drug pricing from falling into the hands of a certain business class or a mafia or a group of cronies once again. The NMRA is the headquarters with regard to medicines in the country. What has happened is akin to the headquarters being taken over by a mafia. It is the responsibility of the Health Ministry and the Health Secretary to ensure that all those involved are placed under arrest. Mr. Chairman, you need to be quiet and prepared to do this. It must first be noted that the government did not consider their history when appointing persons to these positions. Chairpersons are appointed based on their loyalty to Viatmaga. The NMRA, State Pharmaceuticals Corporation and State Pharmaceuticals Manufacturing Corporation are suffering from the Viatmaga effect. If they are unable to rectify this at least now, then I believe that we must rise against this as a country. They must be placed under arrest and an investigation must be initiated.
The data scam.
අපට ලැබී ඇති තොරතුරු අනුව රුපියල් 80ට එක ඇන්ටිජන් කට්ටලයක්.
According to the information we received, we understood that a single antigen test can be purchased for the price of 80 rupees. We revealed these details to the media. But currently, antigen tests are sold at 2,500 rupees. We would like to say that it is extremely unfair to sell at this rate when it only costs about 80 rupees. It can maybe be sold for a price of around 1,000 rupees. But 2,500 is an exorbitant price. Dr. Jairowan Bandara yesterday confirmed that what I am saying is 100% true. According to his statement, setting the price of a rapid antigen test kit at 600 rupees is enough. What I said is confirmed with this. Not only that, our friends have informed us we can purchase these test kits for 50 rupees from Italy. They speak with responsibility.
Do not allow these patients who are suffering to be exploited like this. We would like to ask the President, why are the state institutions dormant? Why are these test kits not brought down by the State Pharmaceutical Corporation? Is the government weak? Are the international conglomerates insulting the government? Is that the reason why private companies have been allowed to exploit your citizens? If the President and the government are there to serve the people, why are you not looking into this? Why is a certain group being allowed to exploit these patients? The government should at least provide the coffins free of charge. If you don't have money to do that, here are some ways that you could earn some money. Do not allow private companies to make excessive profits and ensure that items are sold to the people at a reasonable price. Stopping these corrupt activities is a good way to earn money.
පෞද්ගලික ආයතන වලට අසීමිත ලාභ උපදවා ගන්නට ඉඩ නොලබා සාධාරණ ලෙස භාණ්ඩ අලෙවි කිරීම සහ මේ සිදුවන දූෂණ නැවැත්වීම මගින් අනන්තවත් මුදල් උපයා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
Speaking at a media briefing convened today, the State Minister Ajit Niwad Cabral reiterated his position on the need to reopen the country.
ආර්ථිකමය වශයෙන් අගුළු දැමීමෙන් රටේ තිබෙන දරදේශ නිෂ්පාදිතයට
On the economic front, locking down the country will cause serious damage to our gross domestic product. We know this. Some are only speaking about this. This would amount to 2.2 billion. They speak about the World Bank and the fund. An American analyst may say something different and arguments can be made. What they do not understand is what needs to be done for the small and medium scale people. They don't speak about the ordinary people when devising their formulas. However, our government is sensitive to this. We must reopen the country.
එහෙම කෙරුවොතින් අපිට පුළුවන් වේවි කැඳයි රැවුලයි දෙකම බේර ගන්න. දෙකම බේර ගන්නට නම් අපි රට
We need to do this whilst acting in accordance with the advice of the health authorities.
සලට අනුව කටයුතු කරමින් ඒක කරන්නට ඕනේ.
දැන් ඔබතුමාලා මේ බංග්ලාදේශයට මුදල් ගන්න මේ යෝජනාවකට කියලා තියෙනවා.
මලේ සමහර ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නේ නිකන් බංග්ලාදේශයට සල්ලි.
You are asking that question as if you believe that Bangladesh should not have any money. You are asking this question based on what the MPs are saying. I know. However, I must say that all countries are now investing their reserves in other countries. The biggest investments are being made in America. Bangladesh's funds are being invested in America. Sri Lanka's reserves are also invested in America. That does not indicate that America is a weak country and that we are a strong country or vice versa. There is no problem with the Bank of Bangladesh investing in Sri Lanka since Sri Lanka invests in America too.
ඒරුවනම් ඒකේ කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. මොකද ශ්‍රී ලංකාව ගිහිල්ලා ඇමරිකාවේ ආයෝජනය කරනවා.
The central bank's treasury bills are the measurement by which we can calculate the amount of money that has been printed since December 2019. This is the amount of treasury bills possessed by the central bank. This is Mr. Gotabe's path to prosperity. These treasury bills are evidence that within this short time frame, 1,215 billion rupees has been printed. Remember that when the Yahapalne government was there, this number was at 80 billion. Now it is at 1,215 billion. Here is the number. Every single person in the country is now paying for this through the rising cost of living. If 100 rupees extra is earned from a kilo, then these racketeers make more than 70 billion. What did the government say? They said they cannot increase teachers' salaries because they don't have 56 billion. However, they have allowed a single racketeer to profit 70 billion a year off sugar alone. So we see that whilst this government is asking the people to make sacrifices, they are mounting the burden of their dollar crisis on the people. The country has fallen to a very dangerous state and they are allowing thieves to profit off the country.
අද ඉතාමත්ම බරපතල භයානක තත්වයකට රට ඇද දමලා තිනවා මංකොල්ලකාරෝ ටිකකට රට කොල්ලකන්න දීලා තියෙනවා.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena issued a statement today articulating his position on the controversial project to build a walking path along the embankment of the Parakrama Samudra in Polonnaruwa.
Recognizing the historic significance of the Parakrama Samudra as one of the greatest creations of ancient Sri Lankan irrigation technology, former President Maithripala Sirisena notes, extreme caution should be exercised when considering any project that will impact the reservoir. President Sirisena says it is fair for the agrarian community and the Mahasangha to expect that any such project would be undertaken under the supervision of those with knowledge of irrigation technology. He adds that consultation should have been held with the farmers and Mahasangha prior to the implementation of the project, and a decision on whether to continue the project could have been made then. President Sirisena proposes that the project which is to be undertaken on the western section of the embankment be halted and that a more suitable field with a footpath on the eastern end of the reservoir be utilized instead.
The National Movement to Protect the Parakrama Samudra convened a media briefing in Polonnaruwa today. In a few more weeks, rains will begin to pour down in Polonnaruwa. Stones of the bank have been removed along with a stretch of about 1 kilometer. If heavy rains pour down and if water seeps out of the base of the banks, no one is talking of what will happen then. We would like to responsibly state that if the banks of the Wever are damaged within 2 or 3 years, all responsible officials must face the consequences of it. There is no point in holding discussions. This project must be stopped. But when the project is stopped, the banks must be restored to their original state.
Venerable Muruttettuwe Ananda Thera issued a warning today.
They have begun another game with the excavation at the reservoir. They did it before at the Tissa Maharama. Now they are doing it in Polonnaruwa. The monks will not allow this to continue. They will have to do it over our dead bodies. They are digging about 20 meters as an experiment. We are giving them a clear message to listen to the concerns of the Mahasangha. If they continue to act in an arbitrary manner, then it is not only the Mahasangha in Polonnaruwa. We will mobilize the Mahasangha from every corner of the country to resolve this matter. I would like to remind them that this is a red light that we are holding up. The government is now saying that the funds for this project have been passed already and that if the project is not implemented, then the money will have to be returned. This is an astounding story. The same ministers and MPs have asked public officials to sacrifice half their salaries. If we are at a point in the COVID pandemic where we have to cut wages, then we need to rethink our development priorities. They can't just say that funds have already been passed. If they want people to accept pay cuts to fund government expenditure, then they should provide a clear list of development priorities. This walking path is not built with the public health in mind. Politicians make commissions of such projects. At this point, providing for the needs of those suffering from COVID-19 is more important than building walking paths.
යායම් මන්තිරු වලට වඩා වැඩි ප්‍රමුඛතාවයක් තිය යුතුයි මේ මොහොතේ කොවිඩ් රෝගයෙන් පෙළෙන රෝගීන්ගේ සෞඛ්‍ය පහසුකම් සඳහා.
Milinda Moragada, who has been appointed as Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to India, officially assumed duties today as the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in New Delhi.
The officials of the High Commission welcomed the new High Commissioner as he commenced his duties with the blessings of the Sangha. The chief prelates joined the ceremony via Zoom to bestow their blessings to the new Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India. Milinda Moragada, who assumed duties today, is scheduled to hand over his credentials to Indian President Ramnath Kovind.
Today is the International Day of the Disappeared. The day was created to draw attention to the fate of individuals imprisoned at places and under poor conditions unknown to their relatives. In a press release issued in line with the International Day of the Disappeared, the International Committee of the Red Cross said the families of missing persons must not be forgotten.
Director General of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Robert Mardini, in a letter says, quote, "We want the families of missing persons to know that their loved ones are not forgotten. They are not alone, and we will continue supporting states to do everything in their power to provide answers to the families, thereby upholding the families' right to know," unquote. The release highlights that currently more than 210,000 people are registered as missing by the Red Cross and Red Crescent Family Links network, but this does not convey the true extent of the problem.
Now, the playing of a country's national anthem on the international stage is a moment of immense pride. And at the Olympics and Paralympics, this honor is reserved for countries whose athletes have won gold medals. Thanks to the heroism of para-athlete Dinesh Priyantha, for the first time in history, Sri Lanka Mata was played at the Paralympics today. Now, we leave you tonight with a tribute to Dinesh Priyantha and the moment that immortalized him in Sri Lankan and world history. Thank you and good night.